Welcome back, guys. Between Bells on Cheddar News, and fans of the hit TV show The Sopranos can relive their favorite moments now in theaters. Soprano Sessions is a new 3-part documentary, and this gives a rare insight on the show's development. This from the perspective of the cast, the critics, and even the creators. So here to discuss more is Kristian Fraga, director of Soprano Sessions. Kristian, great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us. So tell us what viewers can expect from this. This seems really incredible.
No, Baker, thank you for having me. And no, this is a very unique project. It's actually 3 different films in a special triple feature presentation. And the idea was through each unique film, we would allow audiences a way in to kind of analyzing and maybe rediscovering The Sopranos in a way they never thought of. So we have one film, My Dinner with Alan, which is the critics, then The Last Supper, which is 4 of the actors, talking about their experience. And then the third film of this triple feature is a chance to sit down with David Chase. And again, it was a way to hopefully allow people in and a way to dissect the series in a whole new way.
So Kristian, I've heard you didn't even really watch The Sopranos, weren't really even a fan of the franchise. So do you feel like there's almost like added pressure on you to get this right? Because the fandom of The Sopranos, they're intense.
Well, I mean, yeah, the truth is, it was through the first film I shot, My Dinner with Alan, which is the 2 critics, Matt Zoller-Seitz and Alan Sepinwall, and it was their passion and their way of describing the series, what went into the making of the series, the layers of what the series meant, the very things that made The Sopranos such a cultural landmark is what kind of triggered me and inspired me into pulling back the layers and really trying to see what makes The Sopranos tick. So I think by not being a super fan and really being inspired by what these 2 critics were saying allowed me a way of kind of thinking about it through the craft. It's not an episode by episode breakdown, and it's just what made the show work. And instead of me expounding on what I felt, I thought, well, the critics, I mean, these guys, Matt and Alan, have forgotten more Sopranos than most of us will ever know, than the actors who were actually there day in, day out making this series. And then, of course, getting to talk to the creator, David Chase. And so that's what I knew, that if I could tap into what I found interesting and what inspired me, you know, it would perhaps open a whole new avenue for the diehards and even for the casual fans, a new way of looking into the series. I mean, I think that was actually a good thing. A good thing that I wasn't so caught up in the minutia of this episode and that episode, and it was more of a kind of a genuine thirst of discovery, and I hope that comes off the screen.
No, I think that's actually a very smart way that you look at it that way, because you're right. If you look at it from an objective perspective, I think you look at it and learn so many new things as a result of that. Was there something that maybe surprised you that you maybe learned in your discovery in these conversations here, or maybe something you didn't expect when you were doing a lot of this?
Well, I think what actually, again, I didn't. My goal was to make the first film was My Dinner with Alan, and it was through the understanding of what Matt and Alan were discussing that I began to realize that really what David Chase did was very clever. He took a sexy genre, you know, the mob. And it's exciting to watch the cat and mouse between the feds and the Sopranos family. But in reality, David Chase was Trojan horsing the stuff that he really was interested in, which was family dynamics, psychotherapy, ageism, racism, the environment. These are all things that David Chase wanted to talk about. And that's what I found both inspiring and really, I mean, again, I wish I could do another 2 films really about it, because he was telling a personal story in this kind of interesting canvas, and it's a world that fans love to revisit over and over, and it's actually now touching a whole new generation. 20-odd years later, we're still talking about it, and I think that was the brilliance of what David Chase did. And that was, I don't know if it was a discovery, but it was something that was a kind of my way in, was that this is personal filmmaking, it's personal storytelling. And I thought that was unique and that was exciting. And I think that's what the fans and everybody connects to. There's so much packed in each of these episodes that you can connect to it on 15 or 16 different levels. And I also think that The Sopranos taught us a whole new way of digesting narrative. Mm-hmm. That there weren't sometimes plot by plot, episode by episode payoffs. It was seasonal arcs, and the payoffs were almost as much emotional than they were any kind of like narrative story beat. And I thought, well, this is brilliant. Like, how did this all work? And that was my quest with these three films, really, to figure out, how did David Chase do this?
This is all incredible, and a lot of people forget all of the shows that we're obsessed with streaming-wise right now. It all started because of The Sopranos 100 years ago, it feels like, on HBO. What an incredible series, too. Kristian, such a pleasure to have you here. Kristian Fraga is the director of the Soprano Sessions, which will begin playing in movie theaters nationwide until June the 3rd.